Well, good evening to all those who are watching from wherever you are tonight. For those who don't know me, my name is Peter Gives. I'm a Jesuit priest and founder of A Faith That Does Justice, an interfaith organization that seeks to raise consciousness about social issues that affect the most vulnerable among us. We've checked in from time to time about some of the current events that are happening as we approach our national elections. And as we say, these national elections that are coming up in about a month's time now are really unique in the sense that they occur in the midst of this COVID pandemic, the Black Lives Matter movement, in which we have manifestations continuing in our streets most days and nights during the past several months. And now, most recently, with the Supreme Court vacancy as a result of the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'd like to start by just at least honoring her life, mentioning her to many people in this country. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was really an icon of justice, of social justice. She spoke out vehemently for women's rights, workers' rights, and she spoke about separation of church and state. At a deeper level, her loss really has created an additional situation or crisis in which we're dealing in this country. The loss of a justice on the Supreme Court, which really the Supreme Court has such a vital function in this country because it weighs in on the Constitution, interprets the Constitution when there are issues to be resolved. So consequently, it has quite an effect on public policy, on social justice. And we're in the midst of now this debate about whether or not this seat should be filled before or after our national elections that are coming up. That really allows me to speak. I'd like to just offer a personal reflection on this vacancy. And I've kind of termed it power versus principle. And one way of looking at it, as I see, is really that I learned along the way, there was a politician that I knew going back several years ago who really said that most politicians will never turn down an opportunity to grab power if it is there. And that's not party related. That is just the nature of the political process. As a result, we have seen now the flip-flopping of some senators who 4 years ago said that we should wait until elections in the last year of a presidential term. We should wait until new elections before really filling the office of a Supreme Court justice, that the people then could elect a president or re-elect a president and make that decision. And now, 4 years later, some of these same politicians are saying, no, wait a minute, we need to really fill it now before the elections because it is such an important seat. So it is perhaps the nature of the game, the political situation, but it really flies in the face, at least to me, it seems to me, of really the idea of principle, the idea of being true to oneself, that we are called to really speak from truthfulness as faith-filled people and to act out of conscience for the common good. So we run into a situation where it's hard for me to believe that the political process, someone who said 4 years ago that it was we should wait to fill this seat and now we should fill it, there's a discrepancy there in terms of a personal sense of truthfulness. You can't argue both and claim to be truthful, it seems to me. So what do we do as people of faith? I'd like to just offer that, again, circling back to these elections, that people of faith, we would claim to be people of principle, living out of values. And really, one power that we have as citizens is really to be able to express that through voting. And I think as we are a month within the voting process, I'd like to encourage everybody to make sure that you are registered to vote. There are options in terms of, depending on your state, whoever is watching from the outside, of mailing in voting versus in-person voting, early voting. There's a number of different options that can be fulfilled. And to make sure you know them so you don't get boxed out in a situation where you thought you could do something and it turns out you can't. Our vote is important. It empowers people to represent us. And I think the power that we have is to try and say that we want to elect people of principle, people who will respond to the common good of all God's people, seeking truthfulness and not just an ideological interest. So I would actually end with that and really just wonder if there might be any questions. You can put them in through a chat box. I'll wait a moment, and if there is one, we'll try to answer it. But I think that is the point tonight. We're within a month of our elections, and I think what we have to do is be quite careful about what is going on in this country. Is it ideology? Is it principle? Is it power for self-seeking and self-interest, or is it really the common good? So I leave you with that. And if there are no questions, we'll just sign off tonight with this quick update. I hope that all are doing well in the course of this pandemic. It's not easy for anyone, but let us stay the course and let us wait for a vaccine when one day, hopefully, we can all be together again. So I want to thank you for being with us. And we hope to continue to do this on an interim basis as different events rise up in society and try to comment on them from the point of view of faith and values. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening. Take seriously the elections that are coming. Make sure you're registered, and please do go out and vote. Have a great evening, and thank you so much.